Hi guys, I'm Kata from IT Life Club, and in this clip I'll be walking you through the end-to-end incident management and major incident management processes in ServiceNow. Before we move on, if you haven't already, I encourage you to go through the theory clip in which I am sharing information about the process definition, personas, use cases, and diagrams. Since we now know what is waiting for us, let us navigate to developer.servicenow.com, wake up your instance, and click on Start Building. The first thing that we will be doing is to click on the All Navigation menu and look up the incident application. Now, just select the Create New module, as this is one of our objectives for this clip. The content frame will now load, and what you are currently seeing is the out-of-the-box incident form. Is this overwhelming? Don't worry, we will go through every field, adjust some, and understand their purposes. For those of you who haven't watched the theory clip, the use case for the incident management process is that a user called in the help desk to report that he cannot connect to the internet over Wi-Fi. He is the only one affected, there is a workaround in place, the network cable, so nothing urgent but rather a regular incident. Let us start with the first field, which is the number. This is unique, it starts with INC, which is the prefix of the table of where it is stored, and that is intuitively the incident table. The second field, color, represents the customer's name, and for now we will fill it randomly with an existing name. As a note, the fields that have an asterisk next to them are mandatory for filling, and as you can observe, in the incident form, the color and short description are marked with an asterisk. The category and subcategory fields speak for themselves. In here we will find a drop-down list, and what is worth remembering is that the subcategory options are displayed based on the category. For instance, the category inquiry/help will have different subcategory options than the softer one, and so on. Now, the category that best suits our use case is network, so let's go ahead with that, and the appropriate subcategory is, as you might have guessed, Wi-Fi. The service field, as its name suggests, will hold information about the service that is affected, and an example of a service could be online streaming, whereas a service offering could be Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, you name it. These are definitely not defined in ServiceNow, let's leave them empty, but I just wanted to clearly explain their purpose. The same will happen with the configuration item field. Let's leave it empty for now and discuss more about it once we reach the configuration management database clip, or in short CMDB. What I can tell you for now is that an incident can be affected by or can affect a configuration item. The channel is the trigger that I was telling you about while going through the diagram. We will select phone for our demonstration and move on to the state field. This field is also a drop-down and holds all the states an incident can have throughout its lifecycle. These are new, which is set by default when the incident is created, in progress once it has an assignee, on hold, which can be set for various reasons such as the help desk awaits more information from the end user, or maybe a server restart is needed. What is worth remembering is that once the state is set to on hold, a new field called on hold reason will appear below, and another takeaway is that this one will be mandatory to be filled in. Now moving forward, we have resolved, which the help desk will select when the incident is resolved. Closed is a state that the administrator can select, however, it is not advised to do so. What is recommended instead is to leave the incident in the resolved state till it will be automatically closed by the system due to inactivity. Don't worry, because it won't stay in the resolved state forever. The predefined default time frame is for 1 day. Lastly, there is the cancel state, and this is something that most of the companies prefer not to use, and that is because it doesn't bring any specific value to the reports. As an example, some companies may be using this state in order to showcase the amount of incidents that have been raised by mistake. Our incident does not have an assignee yet, it is far from being resolved, so let's leave it in the new state. We are now looking at the priority field, which, as you can see, it is grayed out, and the reason for it is because in ServiceNow the priority is given by the impact and urgency. So, in other words, depending on how big the impact is and how urgent it needs to be resolved, the priority will be automatically calculated. Our incident is a regular one. We already agreed that our user has a workaround for his issue. He is the only one affected, so I'm thinking of priority free. For this to happen, we have to set both the impact and the urgency to medium, and that should do it. Moving to the assignment group, I will select a fictional one just to show you the functionality of it. We will leave the assign to field empty for now and move forward to the short description where we will briefly relate the end user's incident. Please note that as soon as we click outside of the short description field, knowledge articles are being recommended. This feature is called contextual search and has the mission to resolve incidents right from the beginning. Let us have a look at a random knowledge article and then attach it to our incident so that in case other members will work on the same ticket, they will know what knowledge article we have used and therefore the troubleshooting steps that were followed. The description is the same as the short description, with the small difference that in here we are encouraged to describe the current issue in details. Before we proceed, let us make sure that we save the progress and the incident itself by right-clicking on the form header and then on Save. Now, if we scroll down a bit, we will see that we have a new section containing 3 tabs: Notes, Related Records, and Resolution Information. Let us start with the Notes, where we see the first 2 options: Watch List and Work Notes List. The watch list enables you to share information about the current progress with the customer, and the work notes list will be used to share different information with your manager or team members. The best practice here states that an informed customer is a happy one, but the same customer is not necessarily interested in the technical discussions you are having with your colleagues. Therefore, it is advised to be careful and avoid adding the customer in the work notes list. The next field, called Work Notes, will be used to send internal communications between different assignment groups or fulfillers, and an example would be, I have manually flushed the DNS cache remotely and it fixed it. Hit post and notice that our comment appeared below the activities, and this is nothing else but a log of our incident. If you look carefully, there is a small radio box called Additional Comments Customer Visible, and I believe that its functionality speaks for itself. Just click on it and add a comment such as, "Dear user, we have reconfigured your device and your Wi-Fi connection should now be restored." This is not the only reason for why a fulfiller might be using the additional comments field, because he might end up using it in order to ask for an update from the customer. Once you have decided on what to type in the additional comments field, just hit post and notice that your comment also appeared in the activity section among the work notes comment. Now moving forward, the related records tab lets us associate our incident with either an existing parent incident, a problem, or a change. The change term appears twice because an incident can be resolved by applying a change, or maybe it has occurred in the first place because of a change. Do not worry with these terms yet, we are going to cover them all at the right time, but in different clips. Moving to the Resolution Information tab now, in here, the agent that will mark the incident as resolved will have to also fill in these fields, and please notice how the resolution code and resolution notes become mandatory for filling once the state is marked as resolved. As for the other fields, we will mark the knowledge field when there isn't a knowledge article available, and once checked, it will trigger a notification to the knowledge manager, informing him that there is an incident which doesn't have a related knowledge article, and thus the fulfillers will struggle when trying to address it as there aren't any troubleshooting steps documented. Going forward, please select the resolution code of your choice, fill in the resolution notes informing the user that the incident will be marked as resolved because the troubleshooting is complete, and leave the resolved by field empty in case you have solved the issue, or just add the resolver's name by typing in the same. The last field, resolved, enables you to select the date for when the incident has been resolved, and this is done mostly for reporting purposes. Lastly, hit the resolve button and there you have it, your first resolved incident. Let us now proceed further and discuss about our second use case where the major incident management comes into the picture. Before we kick off though, I would like to tell you that the major incident management application does not come as an out-of-the-box feature in ServiceNow, meaning that we have to manually install it to our instance. To do so, under the All Navigation menu, look for Plugins and select the module with the same name. Note that it will take a while, but once the content frame fully loaded, you'll notice a message telling you that you are viewing all the applications available to install or the ones that have already been installed. You can safely close the message and in the search bar type in Major Incident. We will want to go for the Incident Management one because the Major Incident Management application is included in here, as we can see if we click on the arrow pointing to the bottom of the page. Just click on Install/Update All, select Demo Data as well, and give it a minute or two to complete the installation. Now, in order to check if the installation was successful, go back to the Application Navigator and search for Major Incident. If the application appeared along with all of its modules such as Overview, Create Major Incident Candidate, Candidates, etc., then all is good and we can proceed further. If you don't see these in your returned results, don't worry, wait for 10 more minutes as this process usually takes time. Speaking about time, to avoid losing some more and creating a new incident from scratch, let us go back to the incident that we have previously resolved, open it, and once inside its form, make sure to change its state from resolved to in progress. Now, assign it to David Dan as he is part of the network group, don't forget to save the changes, and finally, let us act as if it was a major incident. To make it look real, let us impersonate as David Dan, type in the Application Navigator incident, and please notice that unlike the system administrator, David has less roles assigned to him and therefore cannot see all the modules of the incident management application. From this list though, let us open the module called Assigned to Me and open our only record. Now wait for the form to fully load, change the priority to 1, and please add to the description field a note stating that the entire facility is affected by this incident. Save the incident again, and after that, right-click on the form header, and let us take a moment to observe that we now have a new option called Propose Major Incident. This option, as its name suggests, allows fulfillers to propose regular incidents as major incident candidates, and as soon as you click on it, you will be prompted to fill in the work notes and the business impact for why you are promoting this incident to a major one. An example of a work note for this could be: tried restarting the main router, manually assign you DHCP, wired internet connection seems fine, please advise. And an example of a business impact would sound something like: most of the users do not have the option to connect to the internet via network cable and therefore cannot send or receive emails. Yep, quite a big issue here, and in order to check if our major incident got proposed as a candidate, we will need to navigate to the Major Incident tab. What we can see in here is a grayed out field informing us about the current state of our candidate, and right now it's in the proposed one. Right below it, there is the Proposed By field, which is automatically populated with the name of the fulfiller that proposed it, along with a timestamp for when the activity occurred. In the same tab, we can also see useful information about the business impact which we just filled in, and a field named Probable Cause, where we can add our thoughts based on the troubleshooting, of course, regarding what might have caused this. To continue with the demonstration, we will have to actually accept and promote the major incident candidate to a major incident. Now, since the major incident management application does not come up with a defined user that has access to the application, we will want to impersonate as the system administrator and take it from there. Again, ideally, in real life, organizations will have one or more personas with the major incident manager role assigned to them. It's not something super difficult to achieve, but we will get to talk about this more in a separate clip called Users and Roles. Back to the demonstration now, let us look up our record by typing in major in the application navigator and open the candidate module. Now, open the record, go to the major incident tab again, right-click on the form header, and do notice that we now have two new options: promote to major incident or reject. The options, I guess, speak for themselves. We won't be rejecting this one, but what I can tell you is that if we did, the major incident state would have changed to rejected. For now, let us click on promote and get ready to add new work notes. A good example here might be this has been properly assessed as a major incident and has been promoted as such. Leave the business impact as it is and simply click on promote. As soon as you do that, the form will reload, and what's new is of course the state, which is now accepted. Quite cool, right? Now, there might be another scenario where the major incident could have been promoted by mistake, and since ServiceNow doesn't want you to live with this mistake, it has provided us the possibility of demoting it to a regular incident. Simply right-click on the form header and select Demote Major Incident. Now, fill in the work notes mentioning a reason for why you are performing this action, and then click on OK. Once you do that, you will get a confirmation message informing you that the current incident is no longer a major incident. It was that simple to demote a major incident, but for our demonstration, I promised the end-to-end, so let us take advantage of our system administrator role and directly promote it to a major incident again. Add the same or different work notes of your choosing and click on Promote Major Incident. The state changed again, of course, but what I wanted to show you is a very cool tool that the Major Incident Manager is using in order to make his life easier while dealing with P1 and P2 major incidents. This tool is called Workbench. Let's click on it and talk about its perks. As you can see, it has two tabs, Summary and Communication. The Summary tab will give a complete overview of the major incident and at the same time allows the Major Incident Manager to add the impacted locations, CIs, incident tasks, or even create child tickets for the same. What is a child ticket or incident is what you are asking? Well, the answer is simple. When we deal with a priority 1 incident, there is a big possibility to have multiple tickets created for the same incident, and this might be confusing and hard to keep track of. To mitigate this, the Major Incident Manager will inform the helpdesk agents that are currently logging in related tickets to link them to the parent one. To make it short, the best practice is to have just one major incident in progress, and the rest of the related tickets should be attached to it as child tickets. Let us now move forward to the Communication tab and understand its functionality. From here, the Major Incident Manager can create email tasks, meaning that he no longer has to manually draft emails and look for the recipient list to inform the stakeholders about a certain major incident. He can do it from here by simply selecting a communication task. Ours is blank as this is a personal instance, but once the text behind it is drafted, creating a communication task is very easy to configure and modify. Let us actually do one right now. Click on Add, select New Communication Plan, add a short description for the plan and task as well, such as wireless outage and hourly communication. Check the email channel radio box, then recurring, and set it for 60 minutes. Now click on Next. Let us add some dummy groups or users to our communication plan. And once you are done playing around with the dummy data, click on Save, Scroll all the way down and notice how the timer already started counting backwards. You can speed up this process by clicking on Compose and add your message, but in real life, a template will be in place and the only thing that the major incident has to do is to make sure that these emails are sent. We won't send this email because these are dummy users that do not have email addresses associated to their account and therefore the functionality won't do anything. There is one more thing left to do with this major incident and that is to resolve it. Just click on the Resolve UI button and add a resolution code along with the resolution nodes, and that's pretty much it. According to ITIL and Continual Service Improvement, this is not the end of the journey. This major incident will now have to go through a post-incident report, but that is a completely separate story that we will tackle during the problem management process clips. Wow, what can I say? We are finally done with the incident management and major incident management processes. Congratulations on being that patient, and I know that there is a lot to digest, but hopefully you have learned some new things that you will put into practice in your own instance, or why not at work. Remember that there is even more to come. In our next clip, we will talk about problem management, and the plan is to go through the theory first and only after showcase how it works in ServiceNow. That's it for now. I hope you have enjoyed this clip, found it useful, and if you did, give us a like, comment if there are questions or suggestions, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.